Preparations are in full swing for the 2026 local government elections. The Electoral Commission is working hard to ensure everything runs smoothly. They're developing plans to assist voters and improve the election process. The Electoral Commission is set to brief the media, or actually has concluded their media briefing, by the way, on preparations and other initiatives. SABC News reporter Natasha Phiri has been monitoring that briefing that just recently concluded and joins us live with the very latest. Good afternoon, Natasha. The briefing has concluded. Just take us through the salient points there that the media was taken through around the preparation for the local government elections and other initiatives.
Well, thank you so much, Mfundo. Well, the number of issues, one doesn't even know where to start. But perhaps let's just start with the pertinent issues like the Political Party Funding Act. You would know that President Cyril Ramaphosa had actually amended and signed into law those new thresholds, meaning political parties now, Mfundo, now have to declare amounts of 200,000 rand to 30 million rands, meaning that amount, those quantums have actually doubled up. Now, you would know that My Vote Counts had actually taken the issue to court, and it turns out that, sometime last week, Friday, the judgment had come out and actually dismissed My Vote Counts, court challenge or legal challenge over the matter. So the current thresholds stand as they are, meaning that in the various quarters, Mfundo, now political parties will have to start declaring donations from 200,000 to 30 million rands. Remember, the Political Party Funding Act came as a way for political parties to be transparent about their donors and who donates what to which party, to avoid issues like capture. The IEC also took the opportunity, Mfundo, to actually reflect on the 2024 elections report that they tabled earlier on in Parliament. Of course, myself and Busi Bopela for Radio had actually covered this story and just basically highlighting the main tenets of the report, issues that they had or problems that they actually had in regards to the voter management devices on election day. Remember, some of them not worked on the day, but the IEC is saying that moving forward, they've isolated these issues, Mfundo, and moving forward, it shouldn't be much of a challenge when it comes to these voter management devices. They also spoke about that issue, you would remember very well yourself, Mfundo, of the leaderboard actually going out and blacking out, but the IEC maintaining that that did not tamper with the integrity of the elections, as some political parties have claimed. On the issue of e-voting, this is something that we've covered very extensively as the SABC. Just to remind on this year in Cape Town, the conference where the IEC had actually reiterated that, listen, they are not ready to implement e-voting in next year's local government elections or in 2029, something that was actually reiterated here at this press briefing. But also it's important to highlight, Mfundo, that there are now public consultations that are actually taking place on e-voting, and they've taken us through some, of those inputs that were made by the public to say that, listen, when the time comes for the IEC to actually implement e-voting, it should place everybody on an equal footing. It should place every voter on an equal footing, whether the voter is in Johannesburg or Gauteng, or whether the voter is in rural KZN, for example, Mfundo. A number of issues also came out with the registration of political parties, saying that 34 new political parties have been registered since last year's elections, bringing the number up to 472 registered political parties, 287 on a national level, and 185 at a provincial or district level. But just a case in point that we've also covered as the SABC, you would remember that Fahad Huma's, Islamic State of Africa, he wanted to actually register it as a political party. Of course, there have been a number of objections to it, and unfortunately wasn't registered as a political party. He's also appealing that. There's also Boy Mamabolo's, a political party that he's registered. The IEC has also dismissed that, and he's also appealing that. So these are just some of the issues that actually came up at today's briefing. Of course, the IEC will be briefing members of the media continually on their preparations leading up to the local government elections. That report that's supposed to be, given by the Municipal Demarcation Board to the IEC will also brief us on that. And the IEC also saying that they have a meeting in October where they themselves will be having an internal discussion on the roadmap to the elections next year.